Hi everyone, welcome to Metadata Application Profile presentation for KanaFoto Archive. I'm Naome Etori and my friend name is Farley. We wanted to give you a little bit of context about us so that you're well prepared for the ways we wish to collaborate with other organizations outside our institution. Our archive is named for a collaborative team. KA is from Kate's name,
and Na is from Naomi's,
which was basically my generous and brilliant suggestion. KanaFoto Archive maintains a series of collections that relate to the history of correspondence memorabilia and ephemera, one of which is a collection dedicated to postcards. So that's what we'll be presenting to you today.
We are the sole staff members responsible for collection development and digitization for this postcard collection, so collaborations with other libraries are crucial to sharing our resources. We are currently data partners with the Digital Public Library of America, and as such, wish to make public our metadata application profile to all end users and potential partners in order to further share the items in our collection. Postcards have been referred to as the original Instagram and can help to document the ways that people kept in touch with their loved ones when they couldn't just pick up the phone to FaceTime or Skype. The items in this collection are digitized facsimiles of postcards from all over the world, and in some cases are provided in multiple formats. We seek to document the evolution of private mailing cards as they were originally known by the United States Postal Service, and to do this, the collection development strategies implemented specifically target postcards from around the world and from all eras. And since postcards are also primarily a visual medium, we also try to make the content available in multiple formats for a variety of users. We think this is one of the things that makes our collection unique. KanaFoto Archive's postcard collection features text items like Braille translations of postcards, transcribed text from the back of postcards for which we don't also have an associated image, and transcription of handwritten notes on the postcards as linked items within the collection. The vast majority of the collection showcases still images of the front and backs of postcards, with the text on the back of the postcard transcribed for increasing keyword searching. However, we also host sound files of volunteers reading the backs of postcard information as an alternate format for blind or low vision users. This collection also boasts video clips of postcard folders that features sets of images from a particular event. For example, one of the items in our collection is a flip book postcard folder that could not be represented accurately without some type of graphic animation.
In keeping with our multimodal collection, we seek to engage researchers who are interested in exploring deltiology, which is the disciplinary study of postcards, in addition to researchers who are interested in history of correspondence, tourism, ephemera, and print materials. This primary audience will use sophisticated methods for searching for materials, like making use of subject terms for browsing, but will also make descriptive content available via keyword searching.
Secondary audiences include younger researchers in middle and high school who participate in National History Day events, for whom the history analogy makes more sense. Field research suggests that this younger demographic searches for visual evidence pieces as they're a good source of highlighting places of historical significance. Our third audience is the general public, who are interested in local research about their hometowns, vacation destinations, and historical research.
Our metadata scheme must allow users to search and browse by the title of the postcard, which will be available for field searching. This is one of our more unique elements that is somewhat different than other postcard collection because it is labor intensive to craft names for each postcard, which is what they're normally titled with. We also hope for our users to be able to search and browse by the type of postcard via fielded searching and a drop-down term browse, because we hope to document the different kinds of postcard like picture postcards or photograph postcards. This is also a unique element for postcard collection because of the volume of postcards in collection. Another unique element that we wish for our users to search and browse by is the type of the resource, which we will allow via a drop-down term browse. These are things like text, still image, moving image, and sound. Typically, postcard collection only features still images. Additionally, we also wish to make subject fields searchable, copyright date search by single year or a range of years, the postcard publisher searchable and browsable via field searching, and alphabetical term browse. Lastly, we also wish to enable users to search by geographical elements such as continent, nation, state, city, and most importantly, place. Place is searchable via field searching as well as an alphabetical list in order to give users an idea of how varied our collection is.
We also hope for users to be able to identify postcard content by not only the search and browse elements from the previous slides, but also by postcard description, original dimensions, original medium, postcard language, digital file format, and repository name. Every postcard item must contain a title of the postcard, type of resource, subject, digital file format, digital identifier, and rights information. Are there any questions? Oh, good question. No, we chose to make all of our elements public in order to be transparent with our audiences. But we're also open to changing that after we've done some initial user testing and gather some data about whether or not the number of elements we make public is overwhelming. Thank you. So with our remaining time, we'd like to present our metadata application profile to the board.
First, we wish to introduce our local title element called Title of the Postcard, which is a name given to the resource by the person creating the item. This element is mandatory and is repeatable and should be entered as free text. It maps to the Dublin core element title in quotes. Our notes for the person creating the item is available on this slide, and we also have a few examples of titles that already exist in our collection. Next is the postcard description, which is an account of the resource provided by the person creating the resource. This element is required if available, is repeatable, and should also be free text. It maps to the DC element in quotes description. Our input guidelines read, transcribe any text provided by the creator or craft a brief description. To the right of the screen is an example of the description currently in our collection. Our third local element is the postcard publisher, which is an entity responsible for making the resource available. This is required if applicable, is repeatable, and the cataloger should use the Library of Congress name authority file, or the publisher does not exist in the LCNAF. She should use the local authority file. This element maps to the Dublin core element publisher. To the right, you'll see the input guidelines as well as an example of the publisher who is listed in the LCNAF and a publisher who is referenced in our local authority file.
Next, our local element for type of postcard maps to the Dublin core element type, and it's the nature or genre of the content of the resource. This is a mandatory element. It's repeatable, and it should adhere to the Getty Art and Architecture Thesaurus. Some common values will be postcard or picture postcard, maximum postcard, or photographic postcard, and then you'll see the examples to the right. Type of resource is really important for our collection because it differentiates us from many other postcard collections. It's the nature or genre of the digital resource, and it maps to the DC element type. As we said earlier, this is a mandatory element and it is repeatable. Catalogers should use the Dublin Core Metadata Initiative type. Our input guidelines are on the right, as are the 4 types of resources available in our collection. Our local element, original medium, is the type of physical resource, and this maps to the Dublin Core qualified term, format medium. This element is recommended if available. It's non-repeatable, and it should adhere to the Getty Art and Architecture Thesaurus. Some common values that you might see will be lithographic ink on linen, colored ink on linen, or colored ink on paper. Copyright date and original dimensions are both featured on this slide. The copyright date is recommended if available, is non-repeatable, and adheres to the W3CDTF standards. It maps to the DC element date, and to the right you'll see all of the recommended date formats. The original format's local element is the physical dimensions of the resource. It's required if available, non-repeatable, and should be free text. This maps to format extent in Dublin Core, and it should adhere to the examples given as width first and then height second, and then users should also provide a unit of measure. Subject or the topic of the resource is mandatory, repeatable, and maps to Dublin Core subject. Catalogers should use the Library of Congress subject headings or the local authority file if no LC subject headings are found. Examples include postcard, memorabilia, national parks and reserves, lakes and ponds, mountains, sunrises and sunsets, moose.
Next, we have quite a few local geographic elements, namely continent, nation, state or province, city, and place. All are required if available. All except place should use the Getty Thesaurus for geographic names. Place should use Getty Thesaurus for geographic names. Library of Congress Name Authority file, the Getty Art and Architecture Thesaurus or a local authority file. All these elements map to coverage special in Dublin Core. Examples are on the right.
Since part of our mission is to document a variety of postcards from around the world, we also use the local element postcard language, which is required if available. It's repeatable and should adhere to the ISO 639-2 standards. Examples are over on the right. One of our most important local elements is digital file format, which is mandatory, and it refers to the digital resource in our system. This maps to the Dublin Core element format medium. It's repeatable and should conform to the Internet Media Type strings. This is such an important element because of the resource varieties in our collection, and as you can see from our examples given on the right, there are quite a few. We also make the digital identifier, which is an unambiguous reference to the resource, mandatory. It's non-repeatable and should reference our local authority file. It maps to the Dublin Core element identifier, and then you can see the example on the right for our naming convention in our local authority file.
The repository local element is the entity responsible for making the resource available and is recommended if applicable. It is also non-repeatable, should adhere to the Library of Congress Name Authority file, or should use the local authority file when an Library of Congress Name Authority file name is not found. This element maps to the Dublin Core qualified element relation dash is part of. Lastly, while we love to make all our files publicly available, we must use the right local element to balance our shared commitment to open access resources with the corporate restriction of the collection. The rights element is mandatory, non-repeatable, free text, and maps to the Dublin Core element in quote rights.
So thank you to everyone for listening to this presentation. We would like some feedback on the number of elements that we have made available for people to engage with our collection, and we would also appreciate some feedback on the types of resources that you think we are missing in our archive, because we try to make a variety of resources available. Thank you for your time today. Please let us know if you have any further questions, and we look forward to hearing from you.